Okay, guys, I have your C for you. We are discussing how microplastics and nanoplastics are entering um, entering the body and can cause biological effects in cells and animals, but direct conclusive proof that they are causing specific long-term diseases in people is still limited and under active study. What the evidence shows now: nanoplastics have been detected in human tissues and fluids. Studies and investigative reports document micro and nanoplastics, plastic particles in blood, feces, uh, pancreases, uh, thrombolymph, and even brain tissue in some lab analysis. Laboratory and animal studies show plausible harmful mechanisms. Experiments link micro nanoplastics to inflammation, oxidative stress, and immune changes, endocrine disruption, and tissue damage. Mechanisms that could plausibly contribute to chronic disease. Human epidemiology is emerging but not definitive. A growing number of observational studies report associations between higher plastic burdens and markers of disease, e.g., altered liver enzymes, reproductive changes, cardiovascular markers. Yet these studies are heterogeneous, often small, and cannot yet prove causation. Systematic reviews highlight major gaps in exposure, measurement, and long-term outcome data. Key uncertainties and research gaps. Explore quantifications, reliable, standardized methods to measure nanoplastic types, sizes, and concentrations in people are still being developed. Dose and routine prevalence. It's unclear what levels and exposure, routes, ingestion, inhalation, dermal are most important for long-term risk. Longitudinal human data. Large long-term cohort studies with validated exposure matrix are needed to link nanoplastic burden to specific chronic diseases. Practical guidance and decisions to consider. Personal choices to reduce exposure. Prefer fresh, whole foods over highly processed packaged foods. Avoid heating food in plastic. Use water filters that reduce particles. Reduce indoor dust. Vacuum with a HEPA damp dusting. These steps lower likely exposure pathways. Policy and research priorities. Support policies that reduce single-use plastics, improve waste management, and fund standardized exposure and health outcome research. Risks, trade-offs, and next steps. Risks, trade-offs. Eliminating all plastics is impractical. Focus on high exposure behaviors. Heated plastics, single use, food packaging. Important current evidence supports precautionary reduction, not panic. Whether you're most concerned about household exposure, food, drinking water, or occupational sources, and I'll give specific evidence-based steps. Bottom line. Nanoplastics are credible emerging health concern with biological plausibility and early human signals, but definitive proof linking them to specific long-term disease in people is not yet established. Reducing avoidable exposures and supporting better research and regulation are prudent actions now. There is growing credible evidence that microplastics and nanoplastics, MNPS, are entering the human body and produce biological effects linked to inflammation, oxidative stress, and endocrine disruption. But direct, conclusive proof that MNPs cause specific long-term human diseases is still limited and under active study. Key considerations: exposure routes, ingestion, inhalation, particle size, nano versus micro, polymer type, and additives, and co-containment, scorption, Decision points. Prioritize reducing high exposure behaviors, heated plastics, dusty indoor air, bottled water, or focus on advocacy, policy, waste reduction. Indicate whether you're most concerned about food, drinking water, indoor air, or workplace exposure. Comprehensive review. Summarize that NMP exposure is widespread and could elevate risks for metabolic, respiratory, cardiovascular, neuroendocrine, hepatic, renal, reproductive, infectious, and aging related disorders, but emphasize scrutiny of robust human outcome data, laboratory and animal evidence consistently shows mechanisms inflammation and oxidative stress, cotoxicity, endocrine disruption that plausibility link MNPs to chronic disease processes. Systematic human evidence. Recent systematic reviews of in vivo humans studies finds MNPs human samples and reports association with clinical biomarkers, but notes small sample sizes, methodological heterogeneity, and inability to infer causality, risks and trade-offs. Eliminating all plastics is impractical. Targeted reductions avoid microwaving food in plastic. Reduce single-use packaging. Improve indoor dust control. Lower likely exposure with minimal downside. These are precautionary measures supported by current evidence. Policy and research priorities. Standardize exposure measurement, large longitudinal cohort, and studies linking realistic exposure levels to disease endpoints are urgent. Nanoplastics are emerging public health concern with biological plausibility and early human signals, but definitive causal links to specific long-term diseases in people are not yet established. Okay, guys, that is your C for tonight. I will be on tomorrow for shows. Until then, Gator Wellness. Take care, folks.